Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my little corner of the world. And in this video today, we're going to be talking all about how you can have a life of more freedom by building your self-trust, and specifically how you can build your self-trust by connecting to your spirituality. Spirituality has always been something near and dear to my heart as I've just explored my relationship with a higher power, and it's always been something that I've kept pretty private in my life, but it has had such a profound impact. So I really felt called today to share this with you all in hopes to open up the conversation and maybe bring a little bit of light to someone who may be thinking about this path as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Evan, and I dedicate this channel to talking about personal growth and designing your dream lifestyle, especially a lifestyle of freedom. And I just strive to be open and honest about what's going on in my life every single day. All right, y'all, my hair's a little bit of a hot mess today, so bear with me. But first, I wanted to lay the foundation of why self-trust is so important to having a life that feels like freedom. When you don't have self-trust, it can feel like you are constantly overthinking, you are analyzing every single piece of a decision that you're making. Also, it may feel like that you have to constantly seek the advice and counsel of other people. This gives us a sense of control over the decision that we make and feeling like, okay, I have checked all the boxes. Now I know that when I make this decision, it will be the right one. But how many times in your life have you done that and the decision's still been wrong? Like, it happens so often. And fundamentally, what I believe is that if we're operating from a place of not trusting ourselves, then honestly, it doesn't really matter the decision that we make, because it is not in alignment with who we really are and what we really want to do. And acting in this way is not freedom. But when you begin to trust yourself and trust the decisions that you make and trust that generally things are just going to work out, that is freedom. And that's what we strive to get to. That's what I'm constantly striving to get to. And that's what I want to help you with today. You might be thinking, Evan, that's great. Like, it really does kind of sound like I don't have any self-trust. I do overthink everything, and I feel like I'm trapped in this mental prison. I want to be free. I'm here to help you. The way that I began improving my self-trust was through spirituality. Because for me, I didn't really have any faith or trust in myself, and I didn't know how to just create this from nothing. It felt too hard to do it all by myself. And some people may be able to do that. Some people may not need any spirituality in their life, and just through grit and hard work, they can just find self-worth inside of them. Self-trust, both, I guess. They can find self-trust inside of them, but that wasn't my journey. In seeking help, I turned to spirituality. I've been a spiritual person my entire life. I haven't really aligned too deeply with a certain religion, but I've always felt the presence of a higher power. Side note on my own personal beliefs, I don't personally think that any religion is wrong inherently, because all point to a higher power, all point to connecting with a higher power. So if you are part of some certain religion and that's what you believe, I honor that and I respect that, and you can just take the rest of this video and think about it from that perspective. What is spirituality, first of all? So I touched on it a little bit, but it's really the belief in a higher power, in a universal energy flow, in something that is beyond what the eye can see, but that you in your body can still sense and feel as like an energetic source. To get more specific, there's the expression and connection with the higher being, the higher purpose, the higher just energy. And that is where spirituality comes into practice. And there are so many different ways to practice spirituality. It just depends, I think, on what you are more personally drawn to and how the energy in your own body wants to manifest in the physical world. So as a kid, I felt really drawn to prayer because it was the way that I could really seek support for the things that were on my heart that I was dealing with, or for bringing things into my life that I really desired. I always felt like that my prayers were answered. Obviously, God doesn't always answer prayers exactly as you ask for them, but I felt like that I was always given exactly what I needed at the time. What this did for me was this built up a sense of trust in what I would call the grand plan. And I say this because this was really important in helping me develop my own self-trust, because I felt like I could put trust in something outside of me that would generally work out okay. And I think this foundation is important because it provides something for you to lean on in those moments that you're feeling down, you're feeling dark. It's like it provides light in that dark tunnel. There was definitely an ebb and flow in my relationship with God, in my relationship with the higher powers. And there were times where I felt very alone. I felt like that I had nothing to lean on, and these were dark times. Since now going in this journey, I think this is not something that ever will go away. Like having this higher power, like whether or not you believe in it, like I sincerely think that it is always existing and it is always around you. It's always encompassing you. And if you choose to be one with it and let it into your life and understand it and lean on it as a support system, that it'll be there for you. I believe that the more in tune that I get with my spirituality, this manifests as more trust in myself. I know that if I make a decision to put out a video that's a little woo-woo like this one, I trust that generally things are going to work out. Even if it doesn't, even if people ostracize me, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Like I am just one tiny part of this giant universe, and if I can just do something to bring light to one person, that I will have done my job here. So that is why I feel so inclined to deepen my spirituality practice. And if you are interested, then keep watching, because I will now kind of dive deeper into what spirituality looks like for me today and how I've deepened that practice over time. And if you have any questions, let me know. So as I dive into this piece, I will also talk a little bit more about how each of these strengthens my self-trust, so that we're all coming back to this common theme of self-trust here, because I know you might be here in this video looking to gain a little bit more self-trust, and I want to tell you how these spiritual practices are what helped me deepen my own self-trust. Right, my battery died, so I refreshed myself a little bit. So as I've grown into adulthood, my spiritual practice has deepened and expanded into various realms of spirituality. The first thing I picked up in expanding my spiritual practice was journaling. Journaling was a way for me to connect with myself and to deeply understand my behavior, my decisions, what I was doing, what I really wanted, and connect all this to whether or not there was a larger purpose at play. Through journaling, you can become very present of all that is happening. I love at the end of a journal to reread everything, because there are so many things that I think I remember, but going back through my journal, I'm like, oh wait, that's how that situation occurred. Like that's how I felt in that moment. That's why I made this decision. It's really powerful to like continue knowing who you were in the past, because it really informs how you want to go in the future, and it helps you really learn from your mistakes. And added benefit of self-trust, because you trust that you've been through these trials and tribulations before. Like you can do it, like you can make it through. Once I got deeply into my journaling practice, I began to expand into meditation. With meditation, I wanted to use it as a way to relieve stress. I didn't initially go into it thinking that this would be part of my spirituality either. I knew that people did meditate for spirituality, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to download Headspace. Like, it seems more like a productivity app more than it is like a spiritual app. It was like an immediate benefit. Like the practice of clearing my mind and connecting with the quiet was like a glass of cold water. I rarely experienced a quiet mind. As my roommate can tell you, sometimes my mind is so loud I don't even hear her walking up, and she terrifies me. Like, it's like, I'd also just finished reading The Power of Now, which is a book all about connecting to the present moment. And I did those two things in tandem. And honestly, I have to say that that's probably the moment that my life changed this year. So if I were to recommend anything first, it would be journaling, read The Power of Now, and download Headspace. Now, if you are finished with those foundational concepts and you want to deepen your spirituality even more and your connection with yourself, and you still are feeling a little bit like you're not trusting, that's where I was. I was like, okay, like I've got a quiet mind now, but like nothing's coming through. Like I still don't know how to make decisions to save my life. My coach had just gotten into breath work herself, and she started teaching me about breath work. At first, I was like, oh my God, breath work? Like, this seems silly. It's just breathing. But no, don't sleep on it. Breathwork was the next thing that really leveled up the connection with myself, my spirituality, and the just way I felt in my body. I have never I felt more connected with my body than how I do now after practicing breathwork regularly. I'll link a little breathwork intro down below that first got me into it. And breathwork also really deepened my meditation. And the reason for that is breathwork creates this energy in your body that is so unique to any experience. It's like a vibration in your body, like a tingling through your body. It's really grounding. With a regular practice of this, you begin to deepen like a knowledge of how your body works, like the different feelings in your body, like where emotions start to get stuck, and it really helps you release those emotions and release whatever you're experiencing. So now, the past month since I quit my job, I've been able to develop this really long, luxurious morning routine. And I now actually get up earlier than I ever have in like the last year of my career. I feel more connected and grounded than I have in the last 100 years. And so what it is, and I can do a video on it sometime if y'all are interested, but I wake up with a moment of stillness. So I'll like drink my coffee and just like look outside and enjoy the sunrise. And then I'll do breath work and connect with myself through breath work. And then breath work naturally leads into meditation. And then I'll meditate for a little bit, and then I will stretch my body, use that energy to like release some tension. Oh, so nice. And then I'll journal. The last part of my morning routine is what I call like a learning section. And that actually leads me to the next level that I'm currently in with my spirituality. So the learning is like where I'll take time to read a book, or I'll do like a little exercise or something to really deepen my knowledge of something. So lately, since I'm a career and mindset coach, I have been taking this time to understand career transition, understand different ways that the mind works, and really all things that relate to my business, which is great because then I just kind of take that work directly into the workday. But the other day, I felt called to, that's what we call it. Like, you maybe have heard this before, called. It's this little nudge in a direction that you may not normally have taken. And so for me, that nudge was, hey, Evan, maybe devote that little learn time instead of strict learning all the time. Like, maybe just read for fun. Then it popped into my head to start reading Lord of the Rings again. I had read Lord of the Rings earlier this year, but then work stress involved and I stopped reading for fun. Like, you know how the story goes. And I love that book. I love it. Lord of the Rings, like, I'm a nerd, definitely, but I think that book is amazing for anyone to enjoy because it is a beautiful book. Like, the scenery, the adventure, everything that Tolkien explains in there is just, it's gorgeous. It's such a fun read. And then there was another nudge inside me that didn't make any sense that said, Evan, go on Etsy and like buy some Lord of the Rings shit. What? Like, I don't fangirl anything except for Lady Gaga, but even then, like, I only buy her CDs. I don't like have Lady Gaga posters. So I was like, buy Lord of the Rings stuff. I was like, okay, like, let's see what's on here. So the first thing that I ultimately found was something I did buy. Was this ring. I got the one ring, but in silver. So strangers that don't know me don't instantly know that I'm that much of a nerd, but honestly, like, I'm not really that worried about it. I mean, I'm showing you, and this is a public YouTube, so anyway. But then the second thing that dawned on me when I was looking on Etsy is I realized that I have a ton of crystals in my shopping cart. A couple of months ago, I had this nudge to deepen my spiritual practice with crystals. And this is so funny because my mom has been trying to get me into crystals for years. She loves crystals. She's a very spiritual woman, but something about it, I've always been like, I don't know, Mom. Like, is that a little weird? Like, but they're so gorgeous. And she really believed in the power of them. And I just wasn't in a place mentally where I was ready to accept that maybe crystals did have some kind of like energetic power. I had begun to explore other spiritual avenues. Like, I bought a deck of tarot cards. This is my gorgeous little deck. It's like shiny. I'll show you those in a minute. But I kind of started to play with them, but every time I did, I was like, is this weird? Like, am I strange? Like, I don't know. So then the crystals were there in my shopping cart, and I was like, oh, maybe this is the next level of my spiritual practice, because I have still been feeling some like blocks and fully all in trusting myself. And there's been this like kind of push and pull aspect because I have mentors in my life and I seek to them for guidance because I'm in this no man's land right now as I quit my job and I'm building this business. I think I felt called to these crystals because I felt called to like deepen my spiritual practice. And I've also been learning about energy work. I'm finding it fascinating. Like I'm finding myself very drawn to that. And I think it's because I am still seeking for that like full confidence, self-worth, like self-trust. Like I have a lot of good foundations built in me from mindset work and from developing the techniques to like go inwards and understand myself like cognitively. But it's that emotional side that I am not fully attuned to, that spiritual side. So goes life. Like you just learn to disconnect from some of that as you navigate turbulent waters. And that's what happened to me. Maybe that happened to you as well. I don't know. So then I ordered some crystals from Etsy. I did this little like grab bag. Let me just like collect them up and show. I was going to show you. I'm like a little kid, proud of my crystal collection. So these are my little grab bag that I got. Sorry, Crystal. So this grab bag was for the 7 chakras, which I know nothing about the chakras. That's like my current learning right now. But right now I'm just trying to understand the stones themselves, because what they say, I'm literally just learning about this. Like I spent like the last 3 days learning about this. That's when they came in the mail. What they say is you can set an intention for a particular crystal, and certain crystals are more inclined to have the energy to bring certain things into your life. So like this is citrine, and citrine is like the abundance stone. So you bring citrine into your life and you ask it for abundance, like financial abundance. You ask it to bring money into your life. You like infuse your intention for it. Like I like, thank you, universe, for giving me financial freedom, financial abundance. Like I'm so grateful. I like infuse this stone with like that intention or whatever. I'm not an expert, clearly. But anyway, and so then the idea is that every time you kind of carry this crystal is you are reminded and brought back into that moment where you wanted to manifest abundance. In the case of citrine, it's really just keeps you conscious. It's kind of like the journaling thing that I talked about. Like journaling is that moment where you're understanding your life's decisions, like why you made them, like life's lessons. And this is like that constant awareness of what you want to bring into your life or negative energy that you want to release from your life. And so I think it's just a really good reminder to keep your mind in that place of like abundance, and realizing that you can have that in your life if you begin to believe it. As you begin to believe something, as you begin to trust that it can come into your life, then you begin to act in a way that enables it to come in, that like opens the door. I think self-trust and spirituality really mesh together. If I hold this stone, this abundance stone, and I believe that the universe is abundant, that I believe that the universe is willing to bring abundance into my life, if I trust that, and then I also realize that I am the vehicle through which it must enter, so I have to do shit to like make it come true. Like I can't just sit here like all day and be like, abundance, abundance. You can't just, gotta do stuff. We do still exist in the human form, you know. I trust myself now to make decisions in line with the universe's plan to bring me abundance. I think it's just a really fantastic accelerator in your self-trust, because you're trusting that generally things are gonna go the way that you hope for them to go. And if they don't, then things will go as they go, and it's going to lead you to something eventually, as long as you maintain the trust, because the universe is not without jokes and challenges, let me tell you. But actually, so in doing this the past few days, this is really what led to this pivot in my YouTube channel. Like I really had no intention of going back to YouTube because I was so focused on building my coaching business, creating posts and connecting with people, and like really just being laser focused on like a certain marketing medium. And I felt like that there was a little part of self-expression that was missing from that, but I didn't trust myself to do anything about it. We can't get lost in what people tell us to do and forget what in our heart we feel called to do. And that's a conclusion that I came to after meditating with these crystals. I'm gonna make these videos now, and whatever comes of it, comes of it. Am I right? So all that to say, open your mind to the possibility of using spirituality as a means to build your self-trust, your self-confidence, your self-worth, anything you feel like you're lacking inside. spirituality is a really, really good way to build that up inside of you, to be the foundation on which you can build yourself up and then rely on it to continue to help guide you through all the challenges of life and be the light in the dark place for you. Okay, well, that wraps up kind of the main portion of what I want to talk to y'all today about. I'm also just really excited about these stones, so I want to take like another minute or two to just talk to you about the other stones that I have and just show them to you real quick, because I'm like a little kid in a candy shop with my little crystals here. Okay, but see, look at, like, can you see? Ooh, I love like iridescent stuff. I think it's so pretty. And these cards, look at how gorgeous these cards are. Like, oh my gosh, they're so cool. I love these cards. I forgot this deck is unshuffled. I'll do a tarot card reading for you next time. Okay, bye.